Welcome to the 5-Minute Biographies YouTube channel.
Hi guys, thanks for watching the show. Just a quick reminder to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the biographies we have coming along in the future. That being said, let's get on with the show and the 5-Minute Biographies presentation of Clark Gable. William Clark Gable was born in Cadiz, Ohio, USA on the 1st of February 1901. His father, William Henry Gable, worked in the oil industry as a driller. His mother, Adeline, had William baptized as a Catholic when he was 6 months old, but only a few short months later she died, leaving William to be brought up by his father, and from 1903 his father's new wife, Jenny Dunlap, who raised him to be well presented. Gable's father, but even from a very early age it was the middle name that stuck, and he would be forever known as Clark. He learned to play the piano from his stepmother and would later take to playing brass instruments. He took an interest in languages but was also practically minded, having been pushed into doing things that were thought of as manly by his father, such as fishing and hunting. As Clark progressed through school, his father started to get into financial difficulties and decided to sell up and move to a place called Ravenna, still in Ohio, near the city of Akron, to take up farming. He was hoping to get Clark to work the farm with him, but the boy had other ideas and took a job instead at the Firestone Tire and Rubber Company in Akron. By the time he was 17 years old, Clark Gable had started to become interested in acting after he had seen a play called The Bird of Paradise. When his stepmother died, money, and so by the time he was 21, he had started to variously take jobs at different companies whilst working his way across the country looking for acting work. Whilst working as a logger in Portland, Oregon, he met the stage and movie actress Laura Hope Cruz, who persuaded him to pursue a life on the stage and recommended a theatre company to him. 20 years later, Cruz would star alongside Gable when she played the part of Aunt Pittypat in Gone with the Wind. During his time in Portland, he also met Josephine Dillon, who took Gable under her wing. She paid to have his teeth straightened and she fed him out. She also taught him to have better body posture so he could show a better presence on the stage. As a young man, Gable had a rather high-pitched voice and Dillon spent a lot of time with him, training him to lower it. When she was finished with him, Dillon suggested it was time to pursue a career in film. In 1924, using Josephine Dillon's money, the pair headed for Hollywood, and she became not only his manager but his first wife, even though she was 17 years his senior. He had been using the stage name W.C. Gable, but upon their arrival in Hollywood he changed it to Clark Gable. During 1924-25 and 26, he appeared as an extra in a number of silent movies but wasn't offered any major roles, so took back to the stage. During 1927 and 28, Gable landed quite a number of stage parts and became friends with Lionel Barrymore. The more he acted, the more he gained somewhat of a matinee idol. Towards the end of 1928, Clark and Josephine moved to New York with the aim of getting Gable parts on Broadway, but the following year would come the Great Depression and the advent of talking pictures, which led to many plays being cancelled, to acting jobs being particularly hard to find. Gable was impressive in a stage production of The Last Mile and was offered a contract by MGM, with his first role in a talkie being that of the villain in the western The Painted Desert. The studio took notice of his performance, but his relationship with Josephine broke down and the couple were divorced in 1930. Shortly afterwards, he married Maria Langham, also known as Rhea. Clark Gable's star started to rise in Hollywood during the early 1930s as MGM were looking to increase the exposure of their male stars. It also didn't hurt to have leading ladies such as Joan Crawford asking to work with him, which she for the 1931 movie Dance Fools Dance. From that point, Gable never played another supporting role, always the lead. Gable and Crawford started an affair, which became such common knowledge that the studio threatened to cancel both their contracts if they didn't cool it, and so Gable turned his attentions to Marion Davis instead. His importance continued to rise during the rest of the 1930s, especially after the studio paired him with Jean Harlow in Red Dust. They would make 6 movies together, with their last being 1937's Saratoga, during the production of which Jean Harlow died, resulting in doubles being used for the remaining 10% of the film. During the 1930s, Gable made 3 films with Spencer Tracy, and each one was a smash hit, but in 1939 the movie role came along that would define him. He was Oscar nominated for the part of Rhett Butler in Gone with the Wind as Scarlett O'Hara. It was a part he didn't want initially, mainly because it was felt that no one else could do it. Decades after, Gable said that just as his name would start to fade, Gone with the Wind would be re-released and he would shoot back up the popularity charts again. He would continue to be a leading actor for the rest of his life. The same year as the release of Gone with the Wind, 1939, Gable married for the 3rd time after a long and drawn-out, not to mention expensive divorce from Rhea Langham. His new wife this time was also his leading lady. Clark Gable and Carole Lombard were married on the 29th of March 1939, and he said that his time with her was the happiest of his life. Their time together would be short though, as Carole Lombard was killed when the aircraft she was travelling in, along with her mother and press agent Otto Winkler, crashed into mountains near Las Vegas, Nevada. He was said to be never the same again after Carole Lombard's death, even though he married twice more and made a further 27 movies. In 1942, not long after Lombard's death, Gable enlisted in the US Army Air Forces. He completed training on the 28th of October of the same year and was sent to the flexible gunnery field at Tyndall Field in Florida to make a recruitment film in combat with the 8th Air Force. On the 27th of January 1943, he joined the 351st Bomb Group as it deployed to England, and during this time he was promoted to captain. He flew 5 combat missions in B-17 and was awarded not only an Air Medal but also a Distinguished Flying Cross. He returned to the United States in November 1943 to complete the film. He would be promoted to the rank of Major before being relieved of active duty on the 12th of June 1944, at his own request due to his age. His discharge by Captain Ronald Reagan. He resigned his commission on the 26th of September 1947. After the war, Gable returned to acting and made a number of movies and dated a number of actresses. He married again in 1949 to English actress Sylvia Ashley, but they divorced in 1952. As students to compete with television and were also required to reduce costs, Gable's being offered more mediocre roles, and the studios said that his salary was excessive. He refused to renew his contract with MGM and in 1953 went independent. His first movies were profitable, if not smash hits. In 1955 he married for the 5th time, this time to a fashion model and actress called Kay Spreckles. Also at this time he started taking on producing duties, but found that the schedules associated with being both producer and actor were taking a toll on his health. After outright rejecting TV roles, he made another few and ended his colour movie career on a high with It Started in Naples, a light comedy starring Sophia Loren, and which was Oscar nominated. On the 8th of February 1960, Clark Gable received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and in the same year completed 1961's The Misfits with Marilyn Monroe, a movie many considered to be his finest piece of work. A heart attack on the 6th of November in the same year caused Clark Gable to be admitted to the Hollywood Presbyterian Medical Center in Los Angeles. Over the next few days his condition seemed to be improving, but on the evening of the 16th of November 1960 he suffered from an arterial blood clot and died. He was 59 years old. 4 months after his death, Kay gave birth to John Clark Gable on the 20th of March 1961, Clark Gable's only son. I hope you enjoyed that episode of 5 Minute Biographies. If you did, please hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for plenty more biographies to come.